I wanted to speak to you today about creativity and work. These two are such vital, determining forces in our lives that we need to understand and really dig deep into it from an astrological point of view. And why astrological point of view is because these lines get blurred between astrological, esoterical aspects and the reality that we live in everyday lives, right? So I'm kind of trying to blend in the higher ideological, esoterical aspects into the practical everyday living here. Kind of lines become blur. So let's see what creativity and work have are related to one another as in. Okay, because this is so crucial, this is so vital for your everyday living to understand this basic principle. Okay. So before we get into this, I wanted to understand one principle of Vedic astrology. These are the houses, the 12 houses chart, and I want you to remember this one aspect. One plus of the house, any house, is the gain of that house, and one minus is the 12th aspect of that house. 12 houses from itself is the loss of that, whatever the house stands for, irrespective of what the house stands for. So let's say we are dealing now here, creativity is the 5th house and work is the 6th house. So if we look at it from a chart point of view, the gain of the 5th house comes into the 6th house. The gain of your creativity will come into your workplace, into your daily routines. How much ever you work on it, remember this is conscious effort, this is not unconscious gifts given to you from the stars. The gain of your creativity will show up in your daily work, will show up as work routines, will show up as things you do in your daily life, in your daily work, in your jobs, careers, businesses, daily work, even if you're a housewife, right? That creativity will show up here because the gain of 5th house comes into 6th house, one ahead of it. In the same way, the loss of the 6th house, the 12th aspect from the 6th house is the 5th house. That means to say what? Your work, your daily grind, whatever work you're doing in life, will result in the loss of your creativity. This is why dull and boring life work routines will get your creativity down, and you have to take conscious effort to rebuild it again to bring it back to the state of gain. Okay? If you take away nothing from this video, just take this much. Now let's discuss what the 5th and 6th house really are. We'll go through the aspects of it. Okay, what does the 5th house stand for as per Vedic astrology? It stands for all of this stuff listed here. Creative intelligence, knowledge, education, memory, talents, judgment, discretion, advice, merits from past life, past karmas, good karmas, okay? Devotion to the divine, knowledge of mantras, tantras, yantras, spiritual knowledge, basically. Virtues, ruling powers, royalty, authority, because it's the place of the sun. The traditional 5th house is the place of Leo. Literary works, amusements, romance, children, love and romance fall in this 5th house because it's a highly creative process. Everything to do with creativity. Think creativity, 5th house. Children also. Disciplines, wealth, prosperity, nature of your spouse is the 5th house. Speculation as in gambling, stock markets, competition, sense of competitive spirit, past life good karma, house of wealth also called Lakshmi as per the Hindus, diplomacy, royal or powerful positions. Why again the sun in the 5th house? Fame and education. Sun stands for fame in the world, right? Education is one big theme. So love, romance, creativity, education, children are the main dominant focus themes, whichever most popular astrologers talk about. Also, in terms of organs, it stands for your stomach, your gut level instinct, your lower heart area, this area just below the breastbone, the liver, the spleen, the lower back, and the kidneys. That's the 5th house. Now let's look at the 6th house. 6th house stands for these things on the list, the work area. Finished 5th house creativity, 6th house work. And all the rest of this. What is this? Worries, anxieties, obstacles, enemies at work. Enemies when you talk of at work. What is oppositional to you in the world outside? The place of karma is when you meet the rest of the world, right? thieves, vices, challenges, tests, urge for perfection, self improvement techniques, competitive power comes into this house because whatever gain of the first fifth house is comes in sixth house. See, turning obstacles into opportunities, difference of opinion, conflicts, debts, diseases, suffering, wounds, service, daily routine, litigations, legal litigations, I mean, quadrupeds, pet animals, receiving charity, day to day grind or work, agony, physical pain, service or servants, theft and thieves, fire, diseases, especially acute diseases, hygiene and medicine, critical thoughts, being critical of others comes from the sixth house, criticizing, pancreas, small intestine, lower waist area. Now you're going below, right? So these are the physical organs that it stands for: lower back, urinary, bladder, kidneys. Pregnancy for a female also stands in the sixth house. These are the sixth house aspects. So what happens as a result of this? The fifth house, whatever you gain, and let's go look back once again and tie these things together. Okay. So, whatever you gained in the fifth house, creative intelligence, everybody is gifted with one thing or another. It's not like somebody doesn't have anything of it. They have in different areas. That's all there is to creativity. It's just different areas we are all tuned into. And the chart gives us a hint of that. Creative intelligence, knowledge, education, whatever you're educated in, whatever your creative intelligence is, whatever you're bringing as your personal creativity, not the way creativity is sold to you by your education systems. Your innate creativity, which your chart is telling you, that's what you bring in. Your sense of romance, your sense of connecting to the other person because it's a gut center. The gain of that is what you bring to the sixth house. That means it is so vital for you to start creating one thing or another which you call your personal creativity in any field. It may be in music, arts, science, commerce, it may be any field. You can be creative in any particular field. Creativity is not necessarily arts and painting or music. It can be even in your engineering. It can be even in your philosophy. It can be even in your any kind of education. Commerce can be very creative. Economics can be very creative. So the gain of whatever you do as a education, as your creativity, that's what will show up as gain of wealth for you in the sixth house. This is very, very crucial for you to remember, folks. That's why creativity is important. Why? Because work is going to defeat that. The loss of, as soon as you start working or anyone starts working as a daily work, as a profession, job, business, career, the daily grind will start reducing the creative force. So through life, you've got to go through a process where you're constantly revitalizing your own creative sense abilities. Constantly. This is a through life process. You've got to start building your creative sense so that it brings it back to your work, brings it back to your business, brings it back to whatever your service you're offering to the rest of the world. To minimize all of this worries and anxieties and battles at work and challenges and difference of opinion and be critical of others, if you want to minimize this aspect of work, which happens because all of us are different, we have different opinions, we come from different personalities, backgrounds, and there's so many complexities there, right? So you want to minimize this loss of creativity, which happens as the result of your daily work. Even astrologically, this is just Vedic astrology, folks. This is not my doing. This is not my idea. This is just the way Vedic astrology works. If you want to minimize this loss of creativity happens because it's 12th position from the sixth house, then you got to cultivate more of this gain aspects, creative intelligence. Okay, just remember this. Take this in whatever way it makes sense to you. Use your creativity and constantly build your creativity through life, even if you are having, all of us are having some kind of a daily work in this world. But irrespective of that, you need to build this creativity of yours, which is personal to you, which is in your chart, which is in your children's chart, which is in your friends and spouse and everybody's chart. This is common to all of us because all of us in our birth charts have a fifth house and have a sixth house. It's just different the way it plays out. That's all that is to it. Okay? Take care, be safe, have a good day. Good morning, everyone. I just briefly wanted to discuss the art for all art students, artists out there who might be listening to this. Welcome to my podcast. This is describing just 6 points of how art can be viewed as, how you can take it and improvise it as, what is there available for you to work with, and what is art really. Just 6 points. So here we go. Number one, art is meaningless, yet reflects the hidden side, the mystic side of life, something that mind does not understand, yet the heart does. Now, what do I mean by this briefly? The idea that you need a meaning out of something in life, the idea that you want meanings out of your artwork, whatever it is that you are producing, a sound, a music, a piece of painting, clothing, architecture, or maybe even jewelry, any kind of art that you can conceive of. If you're trying to look for meaning in that, it's pretty meaningless. You're just expressing emotion. What searches in you for meaning is the mind, it is not your heart. And art is a heart driven exercise. It's a heart driven effort by humans to produce something, to make a connection. That's what art is. That's number one. Point number two is art is transformative when you touch it. The Venus side, and what I mean by this, even speaking from the point of view of Vedic astrology, Venus is transformative. It is transformative through death and rebirth. And what this means essentially is something has to leave, the old energy has to leave before the new energy comes in into any human being also. So if you're creating art, if you're an artist, you should remember this. It requires a certain boldness of your heart expression to be an artist of any kind, be it music, any form of art that you can think of. It requires a boldness of your heart. Most people are not bold in their expression of their heart energy. They're very expressive in terms of mind, but that won't serve much. Mind only goes so far. The creation itself is built from the heart energy, not from the mind energy. Number three, the art is reflective. Any form of art is reflective, both of light and shadow side of human beings, both in the artist, within the artist, as well as the current times the artist lives in. And we have seen this through the history. We have seen this in the history of all old civilizations, like the Indian civilization, like the Renaissance of the European system, the European countries, and the artists that they produced, like Mozart, like Picasso, Pablo, and so on. So, art is very transformative and reflective at the same time. You can reflect both the light side and the shadow side of the human being. It can go both ways. This is the powerful attribute of any art form. Let it be music, let it be painting, sculptures, architecture, and so on. Number four, art is influential in heart and therefore to the mind to all those who touch it. Participation itself is transformation. If you participate in an art form, if you look at a painting, if you listen to a piece of music, it is transforming you, period. There is no option available there. It is transformative whether you think of it or not. Its influence goes from the heart to the mind one way. Art goes from heart to the mind, not the other way around. That form is most transformative in nature to human beings and to the civilization. Okay? Think of this. Heart to the mind only. That's what the direction of the art and the artist should be. Because in the meaningless of life itself is the deeper meaning of life itself. This is what art creates. Number five, art is powerfully recreative of a civilization, the way of living and loving in a society. When combined with architecture and science, when art is combined with science, we have magnificent pieces of sculpture, temples, Let it be the Roman architecture, let it be the Indian architecture of temples. You see this everywhere, even in the past civilizations, the kings and the emperors, beyond the conquering and plundering that went on, beyond all of that, beyond the sense of power, they wanted to create something beautiful, even if it is just for an egotistical purpose of being remembered by. But they wanted to create an art form, something that is reflective of the grandeur of human heart itself, the expression. Like I said, the boldness of expression of human heart. You need to be bold to express art. Be bold in your expression as an artist, and then you will shine. Number six, art and aesthetics defines a culture and a civilized society in the heart-centeredness of a group of people. A society or a civilization or a country or a nation is nothing but a group of people. Now, it becomes defining for a culture, any culture or society, doesn't matter which part of the world. It defines the depth of culture and civilization if there are more artistic people there, if the more art is evolved there, when they have learned to combine sacred geometry, when they have learned to combine the mystical forces that define life energy into their art form. This is also shown in the Tantra and Yantra forms in India. Everything is structured around beauty. Beauty is the essence of how this whole creation is built. If it was just the mind, the heart would have no place in it, and everything would soon pretty much be dead, right? So think of these 6 points. I'll leave you with this much. And be a good artist. Be bold in expression. Be bold in your expression of whatever it is that you are trying to create. As a film, as a piece of music, as playing an instrument, writing a book, poetry, blog, anything that you might be doing. Be bold in the expression. Don't be hesitant in evaluating your art form with the mind. The mind cannot understand the heart. The heart can understand the mind, however. There's a point for you to think about. Take care, be safe, and have a great day.